going on, folks? Got another little creature design video for you today. For those of you who have been subscribed to the channel during this whole world building series I started, I salute you and appreciate you for tagging along this whole time. I've been building up this roster of creatures for the past several months, and we're closing in on having the first volume of my digital bestiary released. I'm planning on having at least 50 different species in it, and at least 10 of those I won't be sharing here on the channel or anywhere else. So let's talk about these two creatures that are featured here in this video. As you've seen from the references shown during this time-lapse recording, this first creature is a land shark that has some attributes that are inspired by the sand shark and the Saharan horned viper. If you take a look here on my map, it inhabits this region over here known as the Thhrasher Desert. I have always loved the idea of land-dwelling sharks or whales or any other type of creature that typically is associated with the ocean and instead swapped onto being an animal that swims through the sands. So I absolutely had to include something like that here in my own world-building series. I didn't want to just go the route of making it purely just a shark, and so I chose the desert viper because they're perfectly adapted to basically swim through the sands themselves. I thought it would be a nice combo and help make the concept at least a little more believable. Like snakes, these creatures, which I'm naming sand thrashers, are able to extend their jaws to a large degree in order to swallow up their prey whole. I remember growing up we were told that snakes were able to do this because they can unhinge their jaws, which is actually not true. They just happen to have extra bones, flexible tendons, and even independent lower jaw halves, which all contribute to them being able to open their mouths so wide. So there's your animal fun fact for the day. The sand thrasher lurks beneath the gold desert sands and relies on the vibrations above to find their prey. Dune reference, anyone? Their sleek scales and fins allow them to cut through the sands with ease, and their powerful tail helps propel them to incredibly high speeds. It's definitely not an animal you want to come across if you aren't prepared. And obviously, since they're land dwellers, they don't need gills. For the color palette here, I just used the golden yellows and browns from the sand tiger shark and threw in some white there on the underbelly. Overall, I really like the way this one came out, and it's definitely got me wanting to do something like a giant sand whale eventually. So let me know in the comments down below if that's something you would be interested in seeing. And here we have the completed bestiary entry for the sand thrasher, scientific name Carcharodon desertum. And as for its lore entry here, beneath the surface of the vast shimmering expanse known as the Thhrasher Desert lurks the deadly creature known as the sand thrasher. Its sleek scales are perfectly adapted to the environment, allowing it to swim through the desert sands with ease. Its powerful muscular tail helps to propel it forward at high speeds, making it an incredibly efficient predator. The skeletal structure and flexible tendons around their jaws allow these beasts to open their mouths at a great degree, giving them the ability to swallow much larger prey. Now let's flip the page and check out some more information on this beast. I wanted to make sure this other sketch had the mouth wide open, and you can see by the size comparison that it could definitely swallow a person whole. And now with this one completed, let's move on to the other creature design in the video. So for this creature, we're moving on over to a different continent, but visiting another desert-like biome called the Badlands. Whereas the Thhrasher Desert is more like your Sahara Desert type of locale, this region is more like the southwest of the United States and Mexico. This species is basically my take on a creature from mythology known as the Thunderbird. In our world, the Thunderbird is a spirit from Native American culture and is usually depicted as more of an eagle-like bird. But I had the idea instead of combining terror birds and roadrunners, along with an old design of mine that you can see there in the bottom left. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy and their iconic chocobos, so I took some inspiration from there as well, and also Galarian Zapdos from Pokemon, who's one of my favorites from that franchise. I felt like I could do something pretty cool with this one, and since the Thunderbird comes from Native American culture, I really wanted to take those incredibly cool looking headdresses and incorporate it into the feathers here on this bird. We hardly ever get to see much representation of Native American culture and their mythology in many fantasy IPs, and I feel like there's so much untapped potential there, so I'm hoping y'all really like how this one turned out. Now, since the word thunder is in their name, obviously these animals are imbued with the elemental affinity of lightning. Their magnificent feathers are highly conductive and they can use this electrical energy for multiple purposes. For one, you're not going to want to touch something that will shock you, so that helps ward off some predators. They can also transfer this electrical energy into their powerful legs to generate thunderous kicks. When they sprint through the canyons and valleys, the echoing sound of thunderclaps can be heard from miles away. They typically hunt smaller creatures as a food source, but also eat the desert fruits that can be found growing on the many cacti in the region. And unless you're wearing a rubber suit, you can forget about using these as mounts. But hey, maybe you're a masochist who likes to get tased or something. I don't know, you do you. But anyways, here you can see the completed piece for the Thunderbird. Scientific name, Curritinitris, which means running thunder. And for its lore entry here, the Thunderbird is a species of large, flightless bird that inhabits the arid landscapes of the Badlands. Their powerful legs allow them to run at incredibly high speeds, leaving a trail of sparks behind them. Their beautifully colored plumage is highly conductive and allows them to store electricity, which they can then channel for both offensive and defensive purposes. As it sprints through the valleys and canyons of the region, the echoing sounds of thunderclaps can often be heard. Now let's turn the page on over to check out some more information on these big old birds. I feel like there could be some cool potential here with some armor sets from these creatures, especially if it's themed around some Native American styles. I might have to sketch something like that up eventually. But that will do it for today's world building creature design video. Do me a solid, if you like the video, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. And if you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community we're building up here. And let me know in the comments down below what region you would like to see some creatures from next. Like I said in the beginning, we're closing in on the completion of the first volume of my bestiary here, so be on the lookout for when I announce the upcoming release of the ebook. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.